Well, good day, viewers, and welcome to Noel's Garden Tractors and Firewood. And we're going to start on the case mowing deck repairs today. And of course, it involves more bearings, so anyway, at least I have the bearings for this one, so we'll get turned around here and I'll show you what I'm up to. So this is the deck, the mowing deck that fits on the Case 224 tractor. This one right here. And we need to get the bearings put in, the two outer spindles. I did the middle one there, can't remember now when I did that, but not that long ago. And it made quite a difference in the sound and the slop in the bearings. When I put the new ones in, boy, they're just like brand new, of course. Anyway, the old ones were working and they weren't seized or anything. It was just that they were noisy and you could get some play out of the shaft when you moved it back and forth. So that's the same thing that's going on with the two outer ones. When you have the belt on and turn everything over, they don't sound too bad or seem to work too bad. But when you take the belt off and try them, they're kind of noisy and a little bit of movement out of them. So I figured we knew where and what number of bearings to get, so we got 4 bearings, 2 for this end and 2 for that end. And now that I think of it, I hope that they're the same as the ones in the middle, because that's what I bought for bearings. I think they are the same, but I just hope so. So I'll give this a little spin here. I don't get myself cut, and then you can kind of hear what goes on here. Like, it spins fine and it's nice and loose, but it is a bit noisy. And you can move it back and forth a little bit. Now we'll go over and try the other side just for fun, as my father used to say, just for fun. Something caught up on it maybe? Yeah, the belt is still in it. Alright, if we get the belt out of there, that might make things better. Yeah. On out, belt. There. Yeah, we'll see what this one sounds like. Not great either. That seems to be worse on the other side. And some movement. Hard to see in the camera. So now we'll try the one in the middle. So it's very smooth, and there is no movement in it. When you grab a hold of here and give it a wiggle, it's tight. And it's got some drag to it, so the bearings are doing what they're supposed to do, I guess. So, and it's quiet. So hopefully these two outer ones end up the same way, and then she'll be good for another 50 years. All right, we found a puller, so we're going to see if that'll come off of there. Like I say, I might be up in your way to see here sometimes, so. Well, that just fall right off. I think if I had it pulled on that hard with my fingers, I would have snapped. Oh well, that's all right. That's good. Good. Okay, so we got her out. We got a hold of it with a pair of vice grips. And we got the woodruff key out. So I don't know if that's a better position or if it's not, but that's what we're going to try here. So you might be able to see more, maybe, without me being in the way and possibly not having the light up here in your eyes too. And, all right, so we got to get that shaft out of there. This has got to come out. And it's got to go that way. So we're going to put this nut on here. So just for fun, I've got a rubber hammer here. We're going to try and give it a tap with that. Or we have a BFH. I think most of you know what that is. And then I can stand over here, see, and give that a whack, and I'm not in your way. So I'll hold on to this, and we give this a little tap here, see what happens. Well, that's coming apart pretty good with a rubber hammer. Okay, so we have a washer. We have to remember that goes in there. We have two washers. One for the inside and one for the outside. Keep all parts in box, so don't lose them. Now, we'll see if that'll pull out from the back. There we go. There's your piece. Look at them blades, boy, they're the sharpest. You wouldn't want to rub your finger over those blades too quick. Holy catch, you wouldn't have much of a finger left. Cuts the grass just great. Alright, so that part's done. So I'll bring you over here and I'll show you what I'm kind of up against here. And a little story, I guess, about it. I can get you in place here. Yeah, get the light in. So, in there's a coupling in the middle between the two bearings that the shaft goes through. You can see it's dropped down. So, I'm not sure what I did to get the other ones out, but I think I had a long punch and I went in from this end and I punched at the other bearing out at the bottom of the deck, in other words. And then I was able to get it out, and then I was able to get that coupling that's there out, and then come in from the other way and pound out this bearing. And I think that's how I did the middle one here. That middle one. I can't see it there, is it? I think that's how I did that. I think. So that coupling has to go on that shaft. That's in there. And now what am I trying to think of here? And that's about all you can do. Or, if you had a proper puller, you might be able to pull it out from this way. Now, I do have a puller, and I did make it because of what I did on the center one last year, or whenever I did it. It was in the last 6 months or so, anyway, I think. Anyway, I got the both bearings out, I believe, with this punch. Nice long punch. I could get it right in there and tap on it, and there you go. So what I did, and I don't know if anybody knows this or not, I didn't know it, and I didn't put it back together properly. So if anybody's doing a case deck and putting bearings in it, it might be something that they'd want to think about. What I did was I put the bearing in the back. Now this story is coming from this pulley up here, or that spindle. So I put the pulley, or the bearing into the back, then I put that coupling that's in there, and then I put this bearing in, thinking that I would be able to fish the shaft through that bearing. And while I was putting the bearing in, just using the light BFH, tapping it in, I think I had a socket on it too. Somehow it turned sideways inside that mount. Inside that. And it turned sideways before I had the bearing all the way in. So then I couldn't turn it back around because there was no room. So then I had to get one of the bearings out. And I couldn't put that punch in there because that coupling was in the way, because it was crosswise. So I had quite a lot of thinking to do there on that one. Anyway, like I say, I didn't have a puller, so I made one. And it worked. That's kind of amazing. I don't know if it's going to work today or not, but anyway, that's what I made right there, if I can get a good picture of it here. That is it. So what I did was I put a washer on there. And what did I do now? Oh yeah, okay. Yeah, washer on there. So then I put it in there, and the washer would flip down in behind the race of the bearing. And then the feet, the belt was going to drive me up the wall. Catching on the foot of the camera holding thing. So these 3 feet push up against the outside here, and when you tighten that nut in, it would pull that out and take the bearing with it. So we're going to try that, I guess. So now, once you get that out and you get the coupling out of there, there is a notch in behind where this goes in and sets up against, there is a little tiny notch there where you can put the punch in, and then you can get a hold of the bearing there and punch it out. Like, I should be able to do that once I get this out, get the coupling inside here out. I should be able to see that notch in the back bearing housing, and I should be able to punch it out with this, because I can't get that puller on in the back. Yep, that sounds pretty complicated, doesn't it? Anyway, we'll shut this off here, and I'll see what happens here when we get something set up. So we're gonna put some penetrating oil on it, I guess. Yeah, there it is there. PB Blaster, I guess it's called, I think. Never ever used that in my lifetime. My son got me that for Christmas. So we'll give that a go and see what happens. I think what we're going to do here is probably put this on, and we may give it another turn, and then that's going to be it for today. We'll let it sit with the pressure on it. So my plan didn't work, so I had to resort to the other method. And the other method was the BFH. Anyway, I had to get in through here and get my punch on the back side, or on the bearing in there. And for some unknown reason, that snapped about inch and a quarter off the end of the chisel. That's something now. And I was only using the SFH when I did that. So I changed to, what did I change to? I changed to something different. I changed to this one. And this one had been broke for some time, but anyway, it's got a nice flat surface, I guess. So I tried that with the SFH and no go. So I switched to the BFH and it started to move. So I just kept on pounding and out she come. All right, so that's where we're going to cut her off at for today. Well, good day, viewers, and today is tomorrow. Where I dropped off yesterday, I said I'd be back at it tomorrow or whatever, so today is tomorrow. And 9 degrees today, Celsius, so pretty near 50 degrees almost Fahrenheit. And boys, oh boys, look at that driveway compared to even just yesterday. Basically all melted. Even some green grass in places, so there we go. Big sons, we might be cutting grass here soon. No, I don't think so, but anyway. Supposed to get colder tonight and then a little bit of snow again, so winter ain't over yet, but it's going. All right, so we're going to get back to putting the bearings into the mowing deck again today. Okay, we're going to try and get into the backside here and pound this bearing out this way. I found my little notch that I got to get into. Alright, we got the deck turned downward now, so I can pound down onto the bearing. And you can see in here, I'm going to give you a little notch to get your chisel into it, to pound it out. I don't know if I can show you the other one. Yeah, right there, you can see the other one on the one. That's the one I got to get to. I don't want to tip the camera down too far because it then changes the video from horizontal to vertical. We don't want that. Alright, so I don't know where I'm going to set you up at here, but I'll I guess maybe, I don't know. I'll see if I can find a spot, and if I can't, I'll just have to pound it out and then show you the bearing once I get it out. There's a spot. It's not a very good spot, but it's a spot. See if I can get some light in there, maybe. This light isn't the greatest thing in the world. Yeah, well, there we go. That's as good as it's going to get, I guess. So, all right, we'll see if we can pound that out now. The DFH and something to pound. There, just like that. Once you get things into the proper position and get the proper whack at it, out they come. Alright, so we have a new bearing ready to go in. There's the old one that came out. And we'll use the SFH to get it started, and I have packed the bearing with some grease. So we'll see how this goes here. There now, the light's falling down. There, boy, oh boy, look at that. High-tech stuff here. What is it? High-tech stuff here, the old garden tractors and fire. Just boy, oh boy. Now, I don't have quite the right size socket for this, but we're going to give it a go with this here. My light doesn't seem to like that too much, so I'd say it's going to go out. That's about as far as that fella's going. Yeah, we'll see. So what's wrong with that? Loose, I suppose. There. All right, so we'll I'll give this another go here, but I'm going to put a rag over it because I kind of think there might be some dirt fall out of this socket here. So if I can just find where I need to be, right about there. Let's see if that works. That seemed to work, so there we go. There's one bearing in. Okay, here we are again. We're going to see if we can get the top bearing in now. I did clean it all up there. All in here, all clean. I've got the bearing up here, and I've got it packed with grease, and I had the spindle in here, if you can see that there, I think. And I had the coupling. So if anybody's working on one of these, like I think I've said before, I made the mistake because I didn't know. Maybe somebody else doesn't know. But when you take that spindle out of there, and what I did before was I put the back bearing in like I have now. I put this coupling in, and then I put the bearing in, thinking that I could fish the spindle through the coupling once I get the outer bearing in. Well, that wasn't the case, so this coupling is narrow enough so that when you put it in like that and you're hitting in the bearing up here, it turns like that. And once you get the bearing in, then you can't turn it back. It's like that. So I had quite a job trying to figure out what to do there. So that's why I made that little puller that I had on here the other day. And it worked. But it wouldn't pull out the bearing here yesterday there, but a freshly put in bearing it pulled out, so that's a good thing. Anyway, so what I'm going to do is put this in here, which I have in, then put this in there. That's in place. And then we're going to put the bearing in. That is the idea this time, and we'll see what kind of trouble we get into with that. Because you just never know. Alright, there is the bearing. It doesn't seem to matter which way it goes, so we're just going to start it there like that, I think. Hopefully. We'll get the small BFH, or small FH, is it? SFH, yeah, that's what I need, yeah. Alright, see if we can find that. Okay, that's that. And we have that, so I guess that's going to be it. Oh, poor old back and legs are sore today for some reason. Alright, let's see what's going to take place here now. There. Started anyway. We'll take this socket. I think this is the one. Let's see if this will go through here. It will eventually. Well, I'm going to leave that cut. It's in about halfway into there. the spindle is in about halfway in there, so we'll see what happens here. From there, let's just pull that back out if we can. Yeah. Now we've got to get this groove into the bottom, I guess so. I think that's it. So there we go, the bearing is now in. So now we have this washer here, and we can see that the bearing was on that, the whatever you call it there, the race part or something. But anyway, it's the part that goes on there anyway. So that's the way the washer was in. So that's the way I'm going to put it back in. Put it in like that, right like that, and then. And then I'll figure out which way this went. I didn't watch which way I took that off. The pulley part. Does it go this way? Or does it go that way? We'll measure this washer here and see what that is. Okay. Now this washer for the outside is wider. Okay, I would say that goes there like that. Because it's too... Yeah. So this washer doesn't go there because that mark is too narrow. And this mark fits the washer that I knew that was on the top. So that's good. Now we need to put our woodruff key in. Just like that. That's the right way. That's the way it was in. Now I need me small, well, my SFH. Yeah, that's what I need. Give that a little tap down there. Now we need a little bit of a punch just to kind of straighten it up. Just straighten it up a little bit. I'd like to have this edge down a bit just so that the pulley will go on. Alright, so that's that. And we put the pulley on. And here's the SFH again. There now. And we have our washer, and that goes on. Yeah, that goes on that way. Okay. Probably doesn't matter, but I like to try and put things back together the way they were. I'm thinking that it's so it is. Oh well, that's the way it was. That's the way it's going to stay. All right, there's nothing left in that box. Now, hard to say what we need for torques. So of course the camera shut off at 60 minutes. I'm not allowed to have a video any longer than that, it said. So anyway, what I did was I put that block of wood in there and jammed up the blade, and I gave her one click with the big wrench. Now we'll give it a spin here, and you can see the difference in. All right, I don't hurt myself, hopefully. Can't really give it a good spin. Some quiet compared to what it was, and there's no movement in it when I go to move it back and forth. So that was a successful repair there. So now we got two of them done, and we're going to move on to this one over here, and this one will be basically the same thing. So I'll not bother showing you that because this video is going to be long, and it's hard to do trying to show you too many things, I guess. Anyway, we'll get on to that at another day, probably Monday. I'll see if I can finish that one. So she's going to be some smooth and quiet when I get her all done. That's going to be good. All right, so that's the end of the repair for the case 224 mowing deck bearing installation. And so have a great day wherever you're at and whatever you're doing. Goodbye.